Hello, my name's Fran Sands. Welcome to MyBoxingCoach.com. Joe Lewis, widely thought of as certainly one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. An amazing fighter, beautiful boxing style. And today we're going to cover my 5 fearsome factors of Joe Lewis. Before we get started, why don't you download your book, The Beginner Boxer Toolkit? Join the thousands of others who continue to benefit from this book that I've written. You get all kinds in there, from the 10 core skills, how to use a heavy bag, how to build speed, power, how to build your training regime, and of course how to develop the right mindset to be successful at boxing, whether for fitness or for competition. There's a link down below. You can click or enter your email address, download the book, and there will be a link at the end of the video. Okay, so Joe Lewis, over 70 fights. I think he had the most defences, consecutive defences of the heavyweight title ever. I think it's 25. It's off the top of my head, but I think that's true. And such a fantastic fighter. And I want to just talk through the 5 things that strike me about Joe Lewis. Number 1, and this is everything for me. Joe Lewis felt for me to be one of those fighters that really sort of changed. Boxing's always had really talented and interesting fighters, but he felt like he was one of the fighters who kind of brought it on almost into the modern era with the way his style was configured. His balance is second to none. So he's a beautifully balanced fighter. He kind of leans his body up, so he's not upright. Okay, he's not here. He's here, right? And he kind of leans off the centre line. And his body weight distribution. So I like to think of body weight being distributed either on the back leg, that's for defensive operations, if you like, or centrally, or slightly on the front leg. Now, Joe kind of had his weight central, but that lean off to the side gave him great defensive capabilities. So I didn't have to lean back. So he's here. So he's always in position, especially with his weight, because it's slightly on this leg, because he's leant over. Gives him great position to counter constantly with right hands. But his head's off the centre line at all times. And what he can do, he can go from being in a defensive posture very quickly into offensive posture. And you'll see him, when you watch videos of him, he has this ability to just kind of... He does a lot, like he trained a lot with Sugar Ray Robinson when they were younger. He only had his first fight when he was 17. Joe Lewis. So for any of you young people out there who are getting to 17, 18, who are thinking, oh, I'm a bit too old to start learning boxing now. You're not. He didn't fight till 17, and he didn't do too bad, did he, in the long run? But he'll go and he'll switch from defensive, and he can, with either hand, bang, bang, into slightly offensive. So his balance is beautiful. If he ever missed a full-blooded punch, it's something I do regularly with boxers. I'll work with a boxer and I'll get them just to really whack left hooks in, bang, and I'll really rile them up and say, keep going on, harder than that. Get them to the point where they are trying to hit with maximum power, and then just drop the pad out the way. And what I need them to do is, if they miss, just be there, no further than there. Some, particularly novices, if you do that with them and they miss, they'll kind of go all over the place. And that was never going to happen with Joe Lewis. Beautiful. I see him against a fight I've just watched over and over the last few weeks. It was him versus Max Bear, and hits him with 3 left hooks. Boom, bang, bang. And they're just beautifully timed. Amazing, amazing balance. One of the most balanced fighters you'll ever see. Fearsome factor number 2. Efficiency. Small movements, edge of range. At no point does he start jumping around everywhere. Everything's here. He just occupies the edge of range, and he's full concentration all of the time. But all of the movements are small. He doesn't overcomplicate things. he's there to get himself into the right position to deliver deadly combinations. That's what Joe Louis is about. So he doesn't need to go dancing everywhere and doesn't need to drop his hands. Everything's there and in control. He's clean, simple, short movements. Be simple. Do the simple things well. Do the basics well. 90%, 95% of what the great fighters do are the basics. They just do them very well. Joe Louis, perfect example of that. Which leads me on to fearsome factor number 3. Every punch he throws is perfect. No way this guy is a one-punch fighter. He was putting people asleep with either hand. His jab was immense. Boom, boom. Just clean, precise. His uppercuts, second to none. Uppercut body, uppercut head. His body punching prowess, amazing. Slip hook bang. You know, there was something I saw Sugar Ray Robinson do a lot as well. And it's interesting that those two guys train together. Every punch is clean, precise, executed brilliantly. Good rotation with the hooks, left hook, right hook, uppercut into the body, you name it, didn't matter. Any punch he threw was perfect and could put you to sleep. Fearsome factor number 4, accuracy. Just like he was super efficient with his overall style and his form, the way he held himself, the way he moved into position, where his feet provided that gun platform, if you like, the ability to move his heavy artillery into range and let the shots go and be clean in what he was doing. He very rarely wasted punches. I read an interview with him in a book I've got a couple of nights ago, and he said, you know, when I fought Max Baer, I threw 254 punches and I only missed with one. That might have been a bit of an exaggeration, but when you watch the fight, it's kind of, you're struggling to see where he's missing punches. He's landing them over and over again. Just so accurate. Brilliant. And then my final one is an interesting one because it's his hand defences. You know, he's always there waiting to block straight shots coming at him. So you combine those good hand defences with the balance and the leaning off the centre line and the economy of movement with his feet. He's got the, and either hand, you see him like, his hands are waiting to come up and block shots. You combine those things, what a fighter. You know, just everything done right. Amazing. And a fighter who stands up. You know, it's an interesting thing. You know, apart from the heavyweights, because the heavyweights have just become so gargantuanly big, I think boxing's one of those sports where you can take someone from the 50s, 40s or 50s. So let's say Joe Louis, equivalent size now, he's a light heavyweight now. I think you could take him out of that era and drop him right into this era, and he could compete or be as good or potentially as dominant as he was. And of course things have got better with nutrition, sports science, etc. But not like in other sports. So a 100-metre sprinter from the 1950s does not live with a 100-metre sprinter today. American footballers, soccer players, the ones today, their athletic capability has just taken them on in all kinds of other sports. I've just taken them on to the next level. But I actually believe that boxing stands separate to that, in that you can pick these boxers up and it's about their boxing ability, because good boxing ability can overcome strength and, you know, power. And Joe Louis had just the most wonderful boxing ability. Beautiful fight. I really enjoyed prepping for this video. Anyway, I'm going to stop. Don't forget, click the link below or here to download your book, The Beginner Boxer Toolkit. You really won't regret that. Otherwise, my name's Fran Sands, and thank you for watching. Cheers. I'll see you soon.